We haven't done an update on Spider-Man in quite a while here on the channel, so I felt like it was time for us to discuss one of our favorite superheroes. Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Cosmic Culture, the channel where we talk all things major movie and television news, theories, breakdowns, and much, much more. I'm your host Chris, and yes, we're going to dive into all of the updates we've gotten for Spider-Man, theories, leaks, rumors, post Spider-Man No Way Home in today's video. Now, I know many of you guys watch other YouTubers, follow Reddit accounts, Twitter accounts, TikTok accounts that talk about all sorts of these, so it's very possible that many of them you have heard of, and even more possible that I might not name a few. So be sure to help out the community, drop down to the comment section and let us know what you've heard, or even just what you hope happens for the future of Spider-Man. And of course, we're going to be talking about it right now. If you haven't already, consider subscribing and turning on that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our other major movie and television news videos happening daily here on the channel. You can also follow me on my other socials, Instagram at Chris M. Rosser and Twitter at TheCultureChris. Links to both of those can be found in the description down below. So, Spider-Man. I don't think anybody else really needs to talk to you guys about how exciting it was to have Spider-Man No Way Home. Seeing the three legacy Spider-Men on the same screen and the chemistry that they really had was an absolute nerd dream come true. And I had an absolute blast and am honored to have gone to the red carpet premiere where everybody was at their all-time hype, watched the movie there for the first time, but even at my local theater, watching it with my family and my friends and those who were also in the theater, it was an absolute fan fest, people screaming and cheering. But what's to come next for Spider-Man? Well, we have a lot of different directions that we're being headed, the MCU Spider-Man, and of course the Sonyverse. So we'll discuss both. Let's start with the Sonyverse, because it's a little up in the air and a little crazy, and definitely a lot scary. And then after this, we'll talk about the MCU, Tom Holland, and what we know about that. The Sony SpiderVerse is very scary. There are a lot of different directions that they could take us, some that are very, very cool, and some that would be just disappointing after all of the possibilities we saw with Spider-Man No Way Home. Now, of course, we know Venom 3 will be coming out, and that is more than likely going to be Venom vs. Spider-Man. Which Spider-Man, you might ask? Nobody really knows, although most people are pretty much believing that it's going to be Andrew Garfield Spider-Man that will be taking on the Sony Venom. That would be really cool, very easy to retcon and make all of that the same universe and to continue on. On top of the rumors that Andrew Garfield will also be back in the MCU, we're hoping to see him return in the Sonyverse, exactly for the reason of fighting Venom, or maybe even continuing his story outside of Venom. We know we're getting a Venom 3, and we don't have any official confirmation of an Andrew Garfield third movie, but there were many rumors going around post Spider-Man No Way Home about both Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield getting the next film in their segments prior to meeting back up in the MCU for Secret Wars or any other variant-inducing projects, which we'll talk about in a second. However, we also have Kraven the Hunter, Madam Web, the Across the Spider-Verse movies, and a few other projects that are happening in the background over at Sony and that will be releasing and trying to carry on what is the Sony Spider-Verse. And with those, we have the possibility of Spider-Geddon, which, if you're familiar with the comic book run, is an incredible series that I would love to see on the big screen. We're talking 30 to 50 different Spider-Men all joining forces to fight some big, crazy mythical force, and I'm really anticipating to see the earliest signs of this during Madam Web. Yes, we have Kraven the Hunter coming out, the Across the Spider-Verse movies, all these different things we know and we're excited for, but I think Madam Web is really going to make or break the future of the Sony Spider-Verse, as it will open up that Spider multiverse, much like the character is known for doing in the comics, and allow for different mythical spider craziness things to come into fruition. Now, there's a lot of moving parts, and Sony has definitely been more towards the Morbius side than they have the Spider-Man No Way Home side as far as their solo movies go, but I'm hoping they'll be able to learn from what happened with No Way Home and really build up a lot of hype and excitement. I do also truly believe a lot of what happened in Morbius was changed based off the outcome and overall ending of No Way Home, so they ended up changing a lot of ideas. I believe at one point Sony was really pushing to have Tom Holland join the Sonyverse. I think that's all changed now, and we'll see Tom Holland fighting his own Venom, which was definitely teased for us. But we originally had Venom go over to the MCU, which was kind of crazy. He was out on a beach in Mexico somewhere drinking, but was returned to the Sonyverse. But there was a huge possibility that Tom Holland or Tom Hardy were going to be switching universes and having a huge fight there, kind of colliding and creating one massive universe. But Sony saw potential with their Spider-Man after the huge hype and excitement and successful box office that Spider-Man No Way Home had, and I hope they are running with that. They don't need to pull out of the MCU to create an amazing universe, they just need to take a little bit more time on the details and create something of the caliber of an MCU universe. Now we want to talk about Tom Holland and the MCU. There are a lot of rumors circling around him and what's going to happen. We've heard that there is a 6-movie contract deal either on the table or that has already been signed. Now, if that's the case, obviously we're thinking to ourselves a new Spider-Man trilogy, the 4th, 5th, and 6th movie, and then we're thinking for the next 2 movies, potentially either Kang or Secret Wars, or both, which would be 2, and then we'll have another movie, or I suppose we should call it a project, as there is a possibility we're going to be seeing him in Daredevil. We know that the immediate future of Spider-Man is going to be a street-level, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. No spaceships and crazy Stark suit technology or anything like that. We're going to have a very grounded and a very independent Spider-Man for the next few appearances. Now we know he's going to meet up with many street-level fighters, including Daredevil, maybe Echo, Punisher might be thrown into that, and other Defenders. And it seems like the big bad of that trilogy might ultimately end up being Kingpin. And somewhere in the middle of that, we're going to have the Kang Dynasty, Secret Wars, big Avengers team-up movies happen, and then we'll get back to normalcy somehow. And I hope they tackle that with a lot of class and with a lot of finesse, and I also believe they will. But I am excited to see a grounded neighborhood Spider-Man, somebody who has created his own suit, somebody who lives in a really crappy apartment and is listening to police scanners. Somebody who isn't an Avenger anymore. Nobody remembers who Peter Parker is. All he needs to do is be Spider-Man and go take care of his neighborhood, which I'm really excited to see. So we do have those 6 deals, a trilogy, 2 movies, maybe Avenger-level movies, and potentially a series like Daredevil where his appearances will be made known. And then we'll have to see for the future of Spider-Man. I think it's very likely at that point, once we've done these next projects, this next phase, this next saga for Spider-Man, we're going to be moving on to Miles Morales in the MCU, and that mantle might be passed on. Maybe during the Daredevil project or the 3rd Spider-Man project, there will be the introduction of Miles Morales, and maybe even Tom Holland's Spider-Man can train him and prepare him for the mantle of being the MCU Spider-Man. We know for a fact Tom Holland has said if he wakes up and he's 35 and still playing Spider-Man, he's done something wrong with his career. And that's not to say he doesn't love Spider-Man, just that there are more things he'd like to do. He's even shown interest in potentially playing James Bond one day, and I think that's all in his wheelhouse. We've seen several different projects coming from Tom Holland, as he is a very, very high demand actor, including Uncharted with Sony, which I really enjoyed. So we know he has an acting career and an acting future, but what he will do beyond these next 6 Spider-Man projects probably will be outside of the MCU. So enjoy the projects as they are coming, the Sony SpiderVerse, which may or may not end up including Tom Holland, and the MCU that has a large list of projects that will be including Tom Holland and maybe Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire in Secret Wars. Let me know what you guys think about this news. Let me know what I missed. Let me know what you've heard and what you'd love to see happen with the Spider-Man in the MCU in the comment section down below. Please don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, turn on the notification bell, the whole YouTuber spiel, and I'll see you guys all in the next one right here on Cosmic Culture.